I'm a grade 11 PSS student, and I've talked with the ARC before, and they know that I don't believe in big schools. I like my small schools. I don't think I'm the only one who thinks that. Let's talk to some other students.
We like small schools because everyone knows us, and we know everyone.
I'm a grade 12 student, and at the beginning of grade 11 I moved here from Burlington. And my high school that I used to go to was 1,200 students, and there was probably about 8 different high schools in Burlington alone. And I found that when I moved here, it's a lot smaller of a school, but people know my name. Like, I know most of my graduating class, and I know all the teachers, and I just feel like it's a lot more personal, and that's something that I would definitely not trade.
Small schools are also pretty good for sports teams because, like, if you go to a huge school, there's a lot less chance that you're going to make a team, even if you have like a lot of skill. Say we had a school of like 1,200 people, it would be a lot harder to get into a team that you wanted. So here at PSS, there's a lot more chance to participate in like any sport that you want.
In a smaller school, I think there's like a better sense of community where everyone's friends with everyone, and there's not a lot of like fighting and cliques and stuff. So yeah,
I think that in like a smaller school, there's less chance of like bullying like going on because it's so small. Everybody knows kind of what's going on. If there's a fight, everybody knows what it's like happening, you know.
We know everyone. We're a big family.
So, I guess students do agree with me. Small schools work. But what about staff members?
As the drama teacher at Penetanguishene Secondary School, I'm so fortunate to work at a small school because I really get to work closely and form positive student-teacher relationships with many of my students who are involved in my classes and in extracurricular activities such as the school play. We get to be involved together, work together, build those relationships, and I can walk through the hall and point out students that I know would be brilliant in the play who maybe themselves wouldn't volunteer, but I can say, you should come and try it. Why don't you come and help with costumes? You would be great to help with the set. Get involved. You know, you might not want to volunteer, but if I ask you, you'll become involved, and that's a great thing that comes from having a smaller school, is that not only can any student become involved, but teachers know who to approach, when to approach, and what to approach them to do. For students who never thought that they might like to do something, but they find out afterwards it's actually a brilliant opportunity and they're really enjoying it and learning a lot and gaining a lot of positive experiences because of that.
I'm a recent member of the PSS community. I've been teaching for 24 years, and in that time I've taught in 2 different provinces, for 3 different school boards in 5 different high schools. 3 of those schools were larger schools, the largest having a population of over 2,000 students, the smallest of 500 students. I'm able to speak from first-hand experience when I tell you that students in smaller schools are better served than their counterparts in larger settings. I don't suggest that the quality of education is better or worse, that teachers in larger schools are any less concerned about their students than teachers in smaller schools, but it is far easier for students in a larger setting to fall through the cracks. When every teacher in the building knows virtually every student, there cannot help but be a higher level of watchfulness. I appreciate that a big part of the review is about money. The cost associated with educating a child can be determined in many different ways. If the ultimate goal is to educate our children, then we cannot lose sight of the fact that the cost per graduate in smaller schools is less than the cost per graduate of larger schools. This board has just spent upwards of $5 million to give PSS a facelift, new brick, new windows throughout. It seems a waste to consider closing this facility. It does not take much imagination to recognize that the separate school board would jump at the chance to acquire this facility for their own, and that the population of that school would, in all likelihood, remain populated with the very students currently attending PSS. One of the issues facing our board, that of declining enrollment, would only be augmented by closing PSS. Throughout the entire ARC process, members have been asked to focus on many different aspects in determining what their final recommendation will be to the school board. I hope that all of those many different aspects do not overpower the most important one, that of educating our children and what is in their best interest.
This semester, I'm teaching a program called the Outdoor Environmental Leadership Program. It's a program that runs on an environmental theme. So it's a pilot program this year. It's running quite well and works really well in our school. So next year we're going to be turning it into a specialist high skills major, which means that students will get a specialization on their transcripts in the environment based on the credits that they've taken. There are lots of programs like this in Ontario. Most of the schools that these programs run in are bigger schools, and often they happen in urban centers. We're in an interesting situation because we can stay locally and really practice what we preach. So we talk about being green, we talk about having an environmental conscious, staying locally, eating locally. We can actually do that because we're right up here. We even have woods out in the middle of our backyard. That's sort of the purpose of the program, is to integrate different kinds of people together, different ways of learning and different future paths. So it really brings together different types of people and different interests.
I'm Jade, as you know, and I've decided to talk with the OELP class. So you're probably wondering what I have in my hand right now. I have snowshoes in my hand. So they're going to teach me how to snowshoe. And this is how we're going to do it.
Miles an hour would walk 500 more just to be a man who walks 1,000 miles to fall down at you door.
Oh hey!
Hey there! So you got a whole group here.
Yeah,
well,
their crew.
What do you guys like about being in an OELP?
I like the fact that you can trust people that you never knew you could trust before. We get to learn about the environment.
I like it because we get to play outside. And who wants to be stuck inside all day when you can be outside having fun, catching some rays?
The credentials that we get
their first aid and CPR, their Duke of Edinburgh Bronze Award, a Leave No Trace Awareness Certification.
at the end of the course, which looks really good on your college transcripts.
Alright, thanks you guys.
No problem.
No problem, Jade.
Go snowshoe back into the school and learn.